this tutorial, I'm going to show how to edit an OpenStreetMap PDF import in Illustrator to create site plans, or you can also create diagrams out of this as well. So using the same file from the previous tutorial, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide the clipping mask that we made. So the clipping mask that we made, if I open up in the layers panel, you can see clip group here, and the rectangle that we made to encompass the artboard is going to be at the very top. So I'm just going to hide that so I can see everything while I edit it. So next, I want to get rid of all of these icons because in a sitemap you wouldn't really have these icons included. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on anything here. So say for example this burger, you might need to double click a few times just to open the groups up. But I'm going to click on this burger, and in the top toolbar you'll see here that it says select similar objects. I'm going to click on the down arrow first. So in order to delete all of these icons at once, I'm going to make sure that all is selected here. Depending, say you want to be a bit more selective, you can select it based on opacity, the stroke weight, maybe for buildings, but just for these icons, I'm going to do all because they'll have all exactly the same properties. So select all, and then I'm going to click select similar objects. And once I select similar objects, you can see here that all of those icons that have the same properties are now outlined slightly in blue. If I zoom out, it's a little bit clearer. And then all I'm going to do to get rid of those is just delete. And that's how you delete all of those in one go. I'm going to do the same for the other icons as well. So say for example this purple one, I'm going to make sure all is selected, and I'm going to click on the select button, just delete those, and I'll do the same for these blue ones as well, and same with the brown ones. Get rid of those. Yep, so all of those icons are now deleted and the map looks a little bit cleaner. You can also select on different texts as well and just delete those as well in the same way that you did for the icons. So I'm not going to go through all of those for the tutorial, but that's what you can do. Next, say on a map you want to have everything monochrome because a lot of site maps are monochrome. What we're going to do is I'm going to click out of everything so nothing is selected, and then I'm going to just select everything. So here we go. And then what I'm going to do is go into the top toolbar, go into edit, and then make sure that you go to edit colors, not color settings, but edit colors. And then in this toolbar here, I'm going to do convert to grayscale. And there you go. Everything gets converted to black and white. Say you wanted to create something that was similar to a nollie map. What I would do is, so I'm going to double click on, say, this here. So all of these represent a building, and the way that OpenStreetMap exports the PDF is all of the buildings will have the same properties. So same line weights, same fill color, stuff like that. So the same way we did with the icons, I'm going to select a building, and then I'm going to make sure all is selected, and then I'm going to do select similar objects. And when I click on that, you can see that all of the buildings here are now outlined. If I want to create a nollie map, I might want to change that to all black. So all I'll do is I'll go into properties, double click fill, just change it to black, and there we go. All of our buildings are now black. And that just creates a bit more contrast in what we want to do. Say for grass, we want to create textures. What I'll do for that is, so this patch here, it's in grayscale, so it's a bit hard to see, but this patch here is all grass. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on that patch of grass, double click a few times just because it is in a clip group. So it might be, you might have to double click a few times to go through the groups, but I'm going to select that grass area here. Same thing, select similar objects. And in this case, there are no similar objects because there's not actually a lot of grass here. But if I want to change that to a texture, I'm going to click on fill again in the properties panel. I'm going to go into swatch libraries menu, which is in the bottom left hand corner. Click on that, and then you have a lot of options here, but you want to go into patterns here, and then go into basic graphics. And then depending on what you like, you can choose dots, lines, or a bit more complicated textures. I'm going to go into textures here, and you can select any of these. So just for simplicity, I'm going to choose these diagonal lines here. Probably wouldn't really choose grass to be that. Okay, here we go. I'll use this dotted texture just so it looks a bit more grassy. And then, yep, I'm just going to select out of that. And now your grass is shown with that texture here. And I can do that with Glenferrie Oval. So obviously the oval is going to be grass as well. Because the oval and the grass on this park area here were slightly different colors based on the QGIS import properties, so that I don't need to go through that whole process of selecting the properties again, all I'm going to do is select Glenferrie Oval, click I on my computer keyboard, select the grass texture here, and there we go. That one's the same. Say we wanted to get rid of all of the roads because a Nolly map wouldn't have roads. I'm going to select the road here. I'm going to select this road, and then I'm going to select similar objects, and you can see that selected those roads here, and just going to delete. And you can do the same thing for these streets here, but that's how you do that. And then once you've finished editing this, you can go back into your layers panel, and then where we originally hid that rectangle for the clipping mask, you can just make it visible again, and there you go. And now obviously you can go through, get rid of all of this text that you wouldn't have, and edit it to how you need it to be. And that's how you edit a PDF imported from OpenStreetMap in Illustrator.